following program is sponsored by The Greek, Ely's Radio Shack dealer at 570 Altman in downtown Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Georgetown Media in Ely, Nevada. Regional Transportation Commission meeting, February 17th, 2021.
Pat,
How we doing, Richard?
good. Hey, you guys got a refrigerator truck? Who has one besides what they were?
I don't know, I got one refrigerated trailer, but I use it for everyday use. Yeah.
If we can try to find one, we got one for part of the fourth, we'll try to find one for the piece. We got the light plan. From the wheeling machine. I'm trying to find.
Come from, Dr. Redison,
Well, we're using this too.
all right. They're kind of the only ones that might have something in the garage.
Yeah, but we do have, okay. I thought maybe you had, that's good.
Yeah, the one I got is probably,
But you use it for your.
Does anybody need an agenda or? You guys need agendas back there?
Get a piece of paper, we just go around and have them sign in.
Just pass it around. Do you want to sign in there?
No, I went over to one for the other. I look forward to.
I didn't have that in back there. I didn't. You want the whole packet? or-
Thank you.
Anybody else need agenda?
yeah. You don't mind?
Hey, you want this? Are you want me back up with your report?
You want to? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We're going on that side.
So do we do the roll call or we just need that?
We can start. While they're signing. Ready? Call the Regional Transportation meeting, February the 18th to order. We're sending a sign-up sheet around, so we'll take care of that. Item number 2, comments from the public. Mr. Chachis?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, we're going to make this very easy. We'll put down what I had last time. We got no response. Just to remind you, Mr. Chairman, on the corner of Campton and Great Basin, the Copper Point continues to drain its parking lot runoff on the sidewalk, which is illegal, goes on the state highway. The Canton access needs to be widened to city standards. It was improperly narrowed, never approved by the city council. I will remind you that the city would not allow me to narrow Avenue G when I put in my improvements. Avenue G is considerably wider than Campton. I want to remind you the city sued me for putting the curb and gutter and sidewalk on Avenue G after I followed their directions. I want to caution you about selective enforcement and discrimination. That continues. Mr. Chairman, County Commission, we need to address that. The RCC is assisting the city in a redrawing project on the section of Avenue D between, the Prospector and the Wheeler Machinery Facility, along with an oil stabilization to prep for a future chip overlay. The whole project needs to be done under a general improvement district. Not all of that road is paved. There is no curb, no gutter, no sidewalk, no ADA compliance on the west end or the east end, as a matter of fact. Traffic in the area is too heavy for just a chip overlay. It appears that you're doing the Sweetheart project only. You need to adhere to the adopted city standards. You can't bypass them, Mr. Chairman. That's why they're created. I want to remind you again that I was sued after I followed their direction. Let's see. Part of the directions are the city engineer stakes the curb gutter and sidewalk. Didn't do it for me. I want to remind you the ingress egress on Avenue D off of Altman and 93 near the Holiday Inn is much too narrow. Does not meet minimum street widths set by city code. There's a triangle that's been put in the center to separate the traffic, with each lane being approximately 10 feet. Much too narrow. When a large vehicle enters, it runs over the curb. We've knocked down the stop sign several times now. When's that gonna stop? They push that boulder onto the sidewalk. What's the handicapped person gonna do? Let alone one in a wheelchair. And I won't go through the rest of it. What I wanna add is, on your agenda today, the city is asking for $200,000. Don't give them a dime. They need to address the discrepancies first. Especially the ones I've identified. I've been coming to you before, for years. I don't want you to reward incompetence. Also, the mayor is not enforcing curb and gutter requirements on new construction. He just put in an entire shop, one of the buildings was knocked down on the corner. You got this heavy equipment coming off of the highway onto a city street, and they're gonna tear up what shall I say, entrance? Not there. They have to put in curb and gutter minimum. Minimum. Not doing that. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Item number 3, discussion of possible action to determine whether the brush fire in the area of Avenue M and Rosewood Cove on September 12, 2020, resulting damage to the property of Rosewood Cove is bad, and whether the action of American Paving Preservation caused said damage. Pat?
I don't know, where do you guys wanna go with this, so,
Well,
come on
what
up.
I'd like to know is, you guys wrote the report,
Right,
and in your determination, what was the cause of the fire?
so in our determination of, Jacob was on duty that day, upon, showing up on scene, the fire was going. After speaking with the guys from American Pavement, they stated they were weed whacking and they went a little ways, and then the guy turned around and you see the fire started. So then I had the owner, the foreman, I guess, maybe it was, from American Pavement calling me. And when he first called me and was discussing it, he was talking about in Ruth, a whole different fire that happened in Ruth. It's like, I don't even think you know what you're talking about, but, so then he kept saying, well, are you sure a guy didn't go by, a bum could have went by and threw a cigarette? Well, then I said, yeah, very possible, a bum could have, but nobody's seen a bum in the area, nobody's seen a bum smoking. So I says, our best determination of the circumstances there, they were trimming with metal blades. The fire started, just 10 feet, 15 feet after they went past. Pretty obvious that's where we determined the cause. 100%, can we prove that? No. Could somebody have come and thrown a cigarette hours earlier? Sure. But nobody's seen nobody in the area smoking, there was no kids in the area, nobody's seen, so our best determination is it was caused by the metal blade, you know, right when they were weed whacking. So.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, yeah, upon arrival, I don't know if you guys read the report or the narrative, but upon arrival, I mean, it was a very big fire, but there was a fire. And, I mean, we didn't see no kids running off or kids watching, no kids playing matches or anything. We seen a couple of house owners spraying the fence, and then the construction workers. At the time of the arrival, the weed whackers weren't running, but they were on the ground next to the workers. There was hand tools there, and everybody knows if you strike a hand tool on the ground, it can cause a spark. And we know the fire danger this last summer was very high, so everything was really dry. Again, we're not fire investigators, but this is our best determination of what could have possibly happened here.
And like the guy told me, he goes, well, you know, is that really possible that a fire can start like that? It's like, yeah, I said, you know, in 32 years, I said, this is the first year ever that I've seen 3 different fires start by chains, safety chains dragging on trailers, you know, you see the signs all over. And this is the first year it was so, you know, unconditionally dry. I mean, we had fires burning this year clear into November that were burning like fires burned in August, you know, so yeah, our determination was, we think that's what caused it. Can we prove that 100%? No, we can't, but given all the circumstances and everything else, there was nobody else in the area. None of the neighbors said, hey, we've seen kids over there playing with matches, nothing like that, so I mean, it's, you know, and the guy was adamant me, well, you need Jacob to change his report to this. I'm like, no, I'm not having him change his report. This is what he's seen, this is what he documented, and that's what's stated in his report. And then he called me back again and kept going, and finally he started getting about half rude, and I said, you know what, I'm done talking to you, you can direct all your further questions to the city attorney. And then he kind of backpedaled and, well, okay, well, we'll see what it is, I guess it is what it is, and that's where he kind of left it with me.
I believe that it's caused by that weed whacker. If the spark will start a fire, that's a dead end road.
Yeah.
No kids ride down there just to play in a dead end road. No bum's gonna walk down that road and fire, you know, it's just, all the evidence, in my opinion, points to that metal weed whacker. They do start fires.
Well, accidents happen, just like you said, a spark causes things. If somebody walks on my property and they just happen to fall, it's not my fault, but still it's my property and I'm not responsible for what happens in my general area. Based on your report, you're both of you, you're telling us what you determined. We rely on your expertise to tell us. None of us were here. In fact, I didn't even know till yesterday that what the damage or anything was. But based on your report and just knowing that accidents happen and every company or, you know, vendor that you know carries insurance.
Right,
We all
they're
have
bonded
insurance
or
on the car.
insured for their jobs.
So a $6,000 or $7,000 damage report is really pretty minimal. You get an offender vendor and it's $2,000. So we rely on what you tell us, and my opinion is you're our voice and your determination is correct. So if there's nothing else there, like Bill, like you said, there's no bump down there. It just happened. So there was a spark, and it was an accident. It's nobody's fault, but the damage to the person's property is our concern, and I don't feel that the RTC or the city or the county are responsible for it. It's the company, American Asphalt, is that what they're called? So let's just kind of make a determination if we can, based on the facts. That's all we listen to. And they're a big company, they can certainly afford.
Well, and I would think they'd have bond or insurance for the jobs or whatever they do, and I mean, $4,000 pretty minimal for
Right,
what it could have
right.
been if the homeowners hadn't been there and had a hose out prior to our arrival, you know, it could have got to the house or the garage and caused way more damage, so I mean, they kind of got lucky in a way, I think, too, so. So, that's all we got, if you have any other
Thank you.
questions.
Thanks, guys.
So the legal advice I got from James is if this board determines that American is responsible, then the action would be to take it from their contingency on the next agenda item. If you don't feel they're responsible for the fire, then they get their full contingency back, and then it becomes the American and O'Flaherty's to figure it out through their insurance agencies. that's your two choices today.
I'll make the motion that we hold American Pavement Preservation liable for the brush fire that damaged the fence at number 6 Rosewood Cove.
That's item number 4.
Then let's have number 2 still for possible action. That's all
So
they,
we've made the determination that they have.
but you have to have an action item and make a vote on it.
Well, he's made a motion that we hold them responsible, so
And that,
that's where we're at.
Yeah, okay.
So, I second the motion.
there we go.
What's the second? You get it, Naomi? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, item number 4 then. Discussion by approval to restore damage through 6 Rosewood Cove, aided by paying the repairs for American Pavement Preservation's contingency fund in amount of $4,900.
I'll make the motion to restore the damage by paying the repairs from the American Pavement Preservation's Contingency Fund in the amount of $4,900.
Will that total amount cover?
That's the amount we see, so
That's the bid amount.
Okay, all right.
can we use the word not to exceed, or should we just stick with the 4,900?
4,900, I guess, because that's the quote.
Okay, let's go back.
Yeah,
I'll second Dean Richards' motion.
okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Thank you, guys. Item number 5, discussion about public transit budget fiscal year 22. That's this one right here.
Right there, 200,000 is the breakdown right there. You went, I think, put that together.
we got this here, right?
200,000, if I didn't get that, the breakdown on it.
You guys know the ones that are out?
She's having that.
No, it's different.
That's the breakdown of the 200,000 that the city is the estimate for the 200,000.
Oh, okay, there. Look at the people worksheet like you got. Okay, here, the last meeting we did, figure wasn't in there, so. Just call that in there last week, so.
So correct if I'm wrong, Jeanette, that 147,880 is now 200,000. Third column, third line down.
Well, we're in FY '21, that's what's in the budget this year, and the 200,000 is for the FY '22.
Oh, right down there. Okay, thank you.
Any questions? Not entertain a motion to approve it, presented.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, this is 6, discussion for authorized ratification of the RTC budget fiscal year 22.
That's the last page on your backup, I believe. Some quick incorrect math. The RTC board was informed that if we spend 100% of the funds this year and 100% next year, we would have a fund balance of 1.5. But we did not add in a meeting the other day, we did not add in Murray Street paving project, phase 1. And that's the difference.
entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Richard, second by James. All in favor?
Aye.
Next RTC meeting.
I recommend till we wait till spring, till we get some projects going forward. I don't know what we're gonna talk about, March, April. All right, June it is.
I just have a question on that, so if we don't have a meeting before the final, when's the final deadline again for, this is tentative,
The tentative is April 15th, I think, very
Okay.
close to.
so does the city foresee any change in this numbers there? In what they've got planned?
I mean, I doubt it'd go over it, so I feel comfortable if we
Okay.
put up the 200,000 and it could come in less versus what's out.
Before July 1st, that what we haven't spent yet in this current fiscal year, we may spend some money.
Well, why don't we do late May? And that gives us, if we do happen to have to spend something, gives us a month to figure it out. So we can do late May, and then if there's anything we need to do, we can do it in the month of June. And that should take care of us, and something special comes up, we get special meeting. So let's do the third Thursday of May, is that correct? We usually do the third Thursday, is that right? Is there anything on that? It's not a holiday or anything, is it?
Yeah, so if something comes up where we need to meet, we can call a special meeting, so.
May 20th?
There's no holiday to judge with that? Okay, May 20th?
May 20th? Okay. Okay, item number 8, approval of the RTC minutes of February 2nd, 2021. Good job. Good job.
Yeah, good job.
I have a,
Urgent call, and I had to read them before
a
the
comment on
meeting.
those minutes.
Somebody was all excited, we had to know them. So, Steve?
On page 3 of those minutes, I believe there's a question asked of me by George Chachas, stating the 4 lanes in the central business district, and I was under the assumption that was East Ely. Actually, in the 4 lanes downtown, that will be a 3-lane section. East Ely will be the 4-lane section. I
No,
just
you
wanted
were
to
right
get
the first time.
clarification. Huh?
You were right the first time. No need to correct it.
Well, I know what you would like, George, but the facts are what I just stated, so.
You know, you're killing
I have a
downtown.
question that, in your minute, that you mentioned that the minutes are correct, what you said from, US 6 from Loves to mile marker 70, you're gonna do a chip seal.
That's correct.
And I asked for mile marker 70, what you said, Loggy's Junction.
Loggy's Junction is milepost 64.
But if you're gonna do a chip seal from Love's truck stop, you're gonna go right down over where Q&D is gonna be doing pavement.
No,
And then Q&D gonna do
Q&D's
from-
project would end at the corner, at the intersection. And that's where the chip seal takes off and goes out east.
Oh, okay, I'm still
Yeah, we're
confused.
still confused, yeah. Jim, because if it starts at Love's, you gotta go down East Altman and Great Basin Boulevard to get to Lockies.
Right,
And that's over the top of the current project.
that's what I'm questioning.
Are you headed south or
Well,
east?
the Q&D project ends at the Love's intersection.
Yes.
And that's where, and we do have a contractor that's been named for that chip seal, it's SNC. And that, right at the far side of that junction is where the chip seal will take off, so there is no overlap.
Yeah, but it goes to where?
Huh?
You're gonna go to Majors?
Oh, did I say Loggy?
You said Loggy.
Yeah, Majors Junction, okay, you're right.
Okay, all right.
And I misspoke there, it's Majors Junction, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's a major difference, thank you.
Yeah, that is Majors. You're exactly right, yeah.
I can understand that.
Okay, got that squared away.
Yeah, sorry, I misspoke
Yeah, that's
there.
And the minutes are correct as presented, but just,
Yeah, adding majors instead of logs.
yeah. motion for approval?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, back to public comments. Shane, you
Nope,
here for the fun of it?
no comment.
Anything else, George?
Oh, yeah. Did you want to get up and say anything?
No, I think I've stated everything. I
Okay.
need to say.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to remind you that that Carol McKenzie has not corrected her non-compliant ADA sidewalk she put outside her fence line along State Highway 318. I want to remind you, she makes rules and regulations that she was on the planning commission and also as a regional planning officer. She again needs to take care of business. Rules and regulations, they've been adopted, she has to comply. There is no ADA access on the corner of the Avenue A and C at 11th Street or on 13th Street and Avenue M. Both again were RTC projects. They need to be corrected. That was when you had Rick Stork on there. He should know better. Big dud. There's nothing been done on 7th Street on the railroad crossing across from the old grade school. You took away my access and I can't do maintenance along my fence. Riprap the size of a softball is impeding my ability to do that. I've got limited handicap, and I can't get on there to do anything. I just noticed you guys took care of the problem that was caused by that slurry company at Rosewood when they caused that fire. The contractor who did the railroad overlay or whatever, when they put in that new drain underneath the track, destroyed my access along my fence line. I've told you more than once, either the city or the railroad needs to address that. Now, you folks need to address it also, or get the city out of there. 200,000? No, you made one person right, you make me right. I can't do maintenance along my fence line, and it needs to be addressed. You can't treat one person better than the other, period. Let's see, I want to remind you that particular project on the railroad is a federal project. Federal regulations mandate ADA access on new construction. Did you catch that by chance? I'll get you a picture next time. Nothing's been done on 15th Street East. The street is going to be narrowed once the meeting goes in. There is no sidewalk for pedestrians to walk, and it needs to be addressed. It's not been addressed to date. You've got a lot of apartments up down there. You've got people walking to and from the Sagebrush and the Family Dollar. You've got a traffic problem down there, and you don't have proper sidewalk to keep people off the roads. You have a care center down there. You have people that are handicapped. You got to address that now before that project goes in. I want to remind you that on a daily basis, almost I get told what city, county regulations are. Yet nothing is done when I point other discrepancies. Done it for years. Needs to be addressed. Or you're going to continue hearing me telling you you're discriminating. And if I can find a federal agency to help me, I'm going to give them all these notes. There's no reason for you guys to do this. When you're doing something new, it has to meet the federal new ADA regulations. You're not doing that. You're wasting taxpayers' money. You need to address that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Hearing none, we're adjourned.
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chatchis reporting.